Wait, really? Man, I was all excited to tell you about Vine Villas by Voorhees. But apparently Faye is working double time and Muckden's file is ready. It's in your local host, but when this is all over, I want to circle back to this.
So we've got the right node. We've accessed CryptNet. It's a real question here. So I don't think it's a question of not having access to something inside. Like, I'm pretty sure that I'm just supposed to be able to access these three elements. What isn't clear to me, though, is where the bait file is supposed to come in. For lack of a better option, let's just try something.
What can I do
It's a
for you?
Hail Mary, but attack vectors. If it's not a .com, you know. Well, are you? Yeah, so I mean, I could try every variation, but that doesn't seem to be the way to go about this. So let's go back to my local host and see if there's anything obvious. Actually, I'm going to just take a quick minute here and look for one of those really similar looking ones. So it was Technobog, and then the other one was, I think it was, oh, that one. I got lucky. But I have a feeling that's not going to change my local host at all. Oop. Yeah, so these are all the same. I'm not entirely sure what I just downloaded that to, but okay. Yeah, there's still nothing to do. Oh, fair enough.
I really hope Ivanovna takes the bait. We could really use a win right now. Anyway, while we're waiting, the villas would have this panoramic treetop view. Oh, never mind. She downloaded the file. And here comes the C2 card. Nice.
Turbine C2 registry initiated.
I should stop
Network
second guessing
disconnected.
myself. Find an organization or group related to the hacker.
Connection completed.
Okay, so we are back to using Faye
Andromeda shell initiated.
to explore.
What can I do
So
for you?
internal network scan seems to make the most sense right now. I guess the other thing that I can always try, there's less of a... Oh, that's right. Yeah, so I'm not going to in this case. I was able to successfully map this network. I hope it will help you. So vulnerability report 25, 95, 250. Yeah, so this is the thing. We're on Tor. All right.
Fox acid server connection initiated. Information gathering module
Search,
initiated.
exploit. So here we need to find out how we can take advantage of this. No, I entered that in already. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. We do have another,
Andromeda shell initiated. What can I do for you?
I would never want to belong to any club that would have someone like me.
Shep's Life, thank you very much for that follow. Okay, so we know there's a vulnerability here. This is, of course, the exact same if I just need one of these open.
Information gathering module initiated.
Oops. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be the exploit that we just put on their computer. That's the thing that's weirding me out a little bit. So, I suppose the other thing that we can try is we can take one of these directories. There we go. So here we need to find a user. Now this is the tricky part. We don't actually have anything for username. Well, that's not true, actually.
Password attack and intrusion module initiated.
Okay, so
Target acquired.
Cool.
Awaiting variables to launch attack.
So now we're going to take some things from the file, so... Really? I forgot the other end. Okay, 32. I'm gonna guess female is not a variable. Yeah. Nice. Just trying to think of one of the other... That Spies Labs can't be. Really? Okay, fair enough. We'll do our best with this. eHarmony seems optimistic, though. I suppose the other thing I could have added to the parameters...
Password
Oh, there we go.
successfully
Ruptured.
compromised.
I keep forgetting that it will actually give me the password. Here we go. Okay, Muckton. I think documents is the only thing relevant. one of the reasons I like doing, so if you're wondering why I'm going sort of back and forth in some of these, tools and scripts are most likely going to look like this, but given the fact that my previous runs, like, I spent so much time avoiding all of the different intelligence folders when that was actually where the back door was, I kind of want to eliminate what, like, the obvious, because it doesn't take that much effort to go between directories like this. So we've got Sigil. There we go.
Wait, Ivanovna is working for Sigil? This is bad. Okay, we need to head back to the States and call in some more favors. This is really bad.
So I don't know who Sigil is, but let's find out. Sigil Eyes Only, I'm going to assume that this is related to the supernatural stuff from earlier. Sigil Eyes Only Project, Pure Morning, Top Secret. Specialist Ivanovna, Mukden, ICM-32 Moscow. Subject, additional resources needed for Project Pure Morning. Program update. Tests for Project Pure Morning continue as planned, with increasingly promising results. However, some of the project staff underperformed in Q4 of 2018 and need to be replaced immediately. Sigil has begun an assertive recruitment campaign for new replacement personnel and requires ICM-32's persuasion assistance to ensure all chosen candidates join the project. Assignment details. A list of nominees will be sent to ICM-32 in the coming days, along with details of each candidate's current location, family ties, and financial interests. ICM-32 is granted permission to use any and all means necessary to ensure the success of the recruitment campaign. All right. I think we can afford to close all of this stuff, although no doubt I will regret it as soon as the mission is done. Okay, the Russians hate us slightly less. Dead Man's Hand.
We are now catching much bigger fish out of the sea here while we work our way up the chain, so bear with me while I give you some background on two big players. Information Control and Manipulation 32, ICM-32 for short, and Sigil have formed an alliance. ICM-32 rose to prominence in early 2017 with a series of high-profile attacks on American military and government targets. Our best analysis suggests they may have total financial and military backing of Sigil, though nothing is confirmed. The NSA is cooperating with us to track any of ICM-32's recent activities. The British intelligence, GCHQ, and the NSA have a collaborative program called Get in the Game, dedicated to monitoring online conversations between players in online services like Xbox Live or PC games such as World of Warcraft and even older MMOs like Second Life. They've agreed to help us for this next assignment. We now know that whenever an ICM-32 member is in danger, they post an anonymous message on a popular gaming chat network, which the NSA has detailed in their dossier on the group. Another anonymous user posts a response, acknowledging the warning has been heard. This loophole is our chance to get the information we need. As soon as Mukden finds the Trojan on her network, she'll use the anonymous method to warn ICM-32. We need to access the chat's network and be on the lookout for the code phrases used in ICM-32's warning system. The review or comment will be from Mukden. The user who replies will be our best lead into ICM-32. Once we make the first move against any of their members, they'll know their system has been compromised, making our intel useless. Sigil is a formidable force. We've rarely been given a chance like this against the group. So, make it count, Agent. Your mission objectives are: review NSA's dossier on ICM-32, find a way inside ICM-32's network, look for a connection between ICM-32 and Soft Crash.
Good luck, Agent. We need you on this one. Okay, ICM-32, a black hat organization, possibly bankrolled by Sigil, is now suspected of corrupting Rainvest. Infiltrate their network for more clues. Primary objectives: access the NSA's dossier on ICM-32 in your local host, hack your way inside ICM-32's network, and find a link between ICM-32 and Soft Crash.
Well, apparently, Sigil isn't a big enough concern for the NSA to grant access to their system. I guess they never found out about the Caracas incident or their lab in Taipei. Probably for the best, to be honest. Anyway, they were willing to give us some recent intel on ICM-32's stomping grounds and their coded communication methods. Hopefully it's enough.
Okay, local host as always. All right, top secret, SI, Orcon, Rel to USA, FVEY, FISA, National Security Agency, Information Control and Manipulation 32, ICM 32, covert communications methods, and use February 2019 on public websites and likely interpretations of their meanings. SIOC, Rel to USA, FVEY, FISA. Summary, you. I will not repeat this every time. ICM-32 actors regularly plan to execute cyber espionage operations against U.S. military targets using a series of coded call and response messages posted on public-facing websites. Our network analysts have isolated 4 unique call response pairs used in the gaming section of Dialogue.net's chat site and connected them with known ICM-32 activity to interpret the likely meaning of each communication pair. Due to Dialogue Gaming's rapidly increasing growth, they've branched out into their own sister site, and the CEO, Joseph Lasseter, is currently looking for business and sponsorship opportunities from ad agencies and game studios around the world. He contacts his board of directors on a regular basis regarding all business deals. Communication pairs, website dialoguegaming.net, code phrase, who's ready for those healer nerfs? Response, it's a real slap in the face, which is why I'm re-rolling next expansion. Meaning, operation ready, acknowledgement, we are go. Code phrase, the boss in Crags is way too OP. Response, agreed, hopefully the next patch will buff DPS. Meaning, additional planning required, acknowledgement, operation halted. Code phrase, the writing in this game really took me by surprise. Response, same, I especially like the main character's dialogue. Meaning, agent compromised, acknowledgement, all ties cut. Code phrase, people would still complain if the game gave you blueberry muffins every day. Response, well, I am entitled to those muffins since I paid full price. Meaning, possible target located. Response, acknowledgement, send intel. All right, as always, I'm going to leave these to the side just because I have a terrible habit of forgetting. I don't think there's anything else for me to see inside. Yeah, this is all the same. So, our first most likely candidate. Oh, Jesus Christ, this thing's.
Andromeda shell initiated. What can I do for you? Cleanup protocol initiated. Cleanup protocol complete.
Well, I tried. So at the very least, let's get access to the things that we need. So I figure the exploit database is kind of important.
Module override activated.
I'll say password attack, next most important.
Module override activated.
I'm just noticing that the percent of override, I don't know if there's a limit. So I'm just kind of prioritizing. I don't think it would take everything. I don't think it would not allow me to access part of my machine, but on the odd chance that it does.
Module override activated. Module override activated.
All right. Moving right along, let's do our nmap and whatnot. Oh, that's right. I don't get tab complete in the Andromeda shell, so dialoguegaming.net. I mean, the one thing that's interesting is that you do lose in this case, you can't do the difference between OSINT and sfuzzer, so arguably this is a slightly more efficient way of doing it. But I don't know whether or not this stays after you complete the main mission. Okay, so we've got 2 options here. I'm going to leave this to the side just so I can... I mean, I know I can open up a notepad and stuff like that. But in this case here, it's just as easy for me to open another shell. And we will... do finger no, that's not what I want to do. All right, so chances are this just means that I need to find another way inside. Yeah, okay. So, I think the next thing that I would try would be the social engineering toolkit. So first thing we'll do is take... yep, a lot of emails there. And then, as always, just because we can, we'll use the dictionary pattern. Okay, so we have 400 emails, which theoretically means we don't actually need that convincing of one, but no point in... Now that's kind of interesting. I would have thought that at the very least, like a library would have worked with a gaming site, but it looks like it doesn't. So Flash is maybe the next most likely. You'll notice basically there's an estimated efficiency in the corner here. So if we wanted, okay, so apparently Word is the best. I'm going to assume the PDF will be a lower efficiency. Oh, okay, apparently it's higher. So payload, we still only have one option. And craft an email template. So my reasoning here is he's currently looking for business and sponsorship opportunities. So, you know, business RFP, probably, most likely. I believe in you. You can do it. Well, there's certainly no shortage of people opening it. It's just that apparently they are smart enough not to keep me, or to keep their employees from compromising this. This is a little bit like work, actually. I did get caught by one internal like phishing test, and but as it happens, they screwed it up. So like hey, we made it.
Turbine C2 registry. Initiate connection completed.
All right, Jack. Thank you for letting me inside. Now I need to remember what we're looking for again. Hack your way inside ICM32's network. Oh crap. Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna get anything. I don't know if I'm going to get anything extra out of this, but... Okay, nothing useful inside Jack's computer, which of course makes sense because really we're only... Wait, there is no Active Directory here. That's meaningless.
Andromeda shell.
See, normally I'd hop onto one of these things to try and I'd hop onto one of these to try and like do the internal scans, but like the information gathering, we don't have anything we don't have anything going on in here. So for lack of a better option, we'll see if there's any man in the middle we can do. Nope. Okay. It's less likely that I can check the Wi-Fi. Not that I have access to it. So let's see. Yeah, I don't have any smartphones, so let me out. I think the internal network scan we already did, and it didn't show us anything, but the other thing I wanted to double check was I don't think it will do anything different from last time, but I am going to try. Right, it gives us the www in the chat again, and we already know that those aren't weak. Wait, so I just don't have access to Wi-Fi at all? Well, that makes it particularly tricky. So, I mean, I think ultimately we're looking for... Yeah, this is funny. So, like, apparently I've done this override, but it doesn't actually let me access the thing I'm looking for. I'm not quite ready to run that thing and see what happens. Okay, so let's think through what we've got here. So Goliath doesn't really do much for me here. I don't think X key score is the answer.
Initiated.
Hive mind won't help. These are just all my no, sorry.
Imagery
That's
intelligence active.
so unless there was some kind of man in the middle I could do here. Ah, okay. Wait, so is it the other way around?
Network intrusion module initiated.
There we go. Okay, so let's... Quality control IT bots. I feel like this is the most likely candidate, but... Okay, this is promising. There we go. Okay, so those are the detail. Okay, so this is the recipient. Although I kind of want to... Oh. Stop! Stop, for the love of God! Okay. I'm pretty sure this is... I've known this. Okay, there should actually be a way for me to test that too.
C2 registry initiated.
So yeah, we have Jack's computer, but that's not the one that I'm interested in. It's also possible that we don't have access to it anymore because they've realized... Yeah, not worth looking for. So let's go back to Faye and see if we can find anything about this IP. So 67125 7042. 10918 gulp. I'm assuming it'll be the same result. Yeah. So let's go to the basegulp.com. All right, lots of stuff to go with down there. So I'm just going to keep this for, up for the list.
Andromeda shell.
Got to get used to this shell.
What can I do for you?
And I'm just trying to think of the best way to handle some of this stuff. Let's just try the IP. So 172.49.85.64. No vulnerabilities in the first three. I don't believe we found any vulnerabilities in 10.918. So next up, we'll see if there's anything in 11.281. Okay, well, I suppose that makes sense given that they are elite hacker men and women. So let's try scanning 11281 gulp dot. No, sorry, we already did that. So let's try the IP, see if there's any other domains associated with it. 182.115.160.243. Yep. Okay, so we've got the rainforest now. Now, can I just check? Yeah, so it's not going to let me do that, so I'll just copy. It's a little funny that I need to kind of redo this each time, but... All right. As before, I don't really think I'm going to need any of these, but just to save myself the trouble, we'll do the same thing as last time.
Andromeda shell initiated. What can I do for you? Andromeda shell initiated.
So I'm kind of making an assumption here that checking the IP is going to be sufficient for all of the subdomains. It feels like it should be, but I don't think I've ever actually done a test. But I have a feeling the idea here was to sort of put us through this this maze. So in theory, none of those mattered, but the 21201. Wait, where did I get this rainforest from again? 182. Yes, that's right. So yeah, if it's going to be any of them, it would be 11875. So I suppose in this case it makes as much sense to try the IP. Okay. we continue down the rabbit hole.
Initiated. What can I do for you?
So now we're interested in hopin.com. And again, the reasoning being that we've gone from... so the agent that we were tracing contacted somebody at 172.49.85.64. This led us to gulp.com. We checked out gulp.com. I have played Hackneck, just a little, and I can't remember, Maticus, if you have seen it, but this game actually references some of the previous hacking games that have come before. So I'd played Uplink I think it's by Ambrosia Software. So there's a special Uplink skin, there's a Hacknet skin, and so and then I haven't, there's another hacking game. Or was it a hacking game? I know in terms of other games that this references for sure. It may be that I just don't own it. But yeah, Uplink and Hacknet are two actually very good games as well. And then if you have the Secret World, which is a free-to-play game now, there's also sort of relevant. There's sort of relevant faction lines as well. I would say probably this game is closer to Hacknet than it is Uplink, but it is very much its own beast. So, but yeah, they're all great games, and I really like that this game references that stuff. But anyway, so we had the agent that we were following. So they contacted, and there was an acknowledgement from this IP address, which led us to check out Gulp. Checking out the Gulp IPs led us to the Rainforest IPs here. We couldn't find anything compromising there. However, we did now find this hop-in location. So again, just following the train of thought. I'm keeping these open just in case I need to reference them again. But we'll see whether or not there's anything in hop-in that we need. And it's 121.67.98 that brought us here. So this one wouldn't have any vulnerabilities. Yeah, well, I also think Uplink is, like, the whole premise of Uplink is that society's moved to a point that there is effectively kind of this private company which is able to clearly operate a hacking cloud service effectively. And that they've got systems in place so that law enforcement can't actually do anything about it. So, it's definitely sort of as far removed as possible. Whereas this one here, like Hacknet's really neat because you spend a lot of time in the console. And then I think this one's really neat because it actually gives you mappings from game concepts directly to the real world. And more importantly, and I think the thing that really makes this particular game so unique is that because you have this ARG element to it, I'm not really experiencing it right now because I'm finishing up the single-player campaign, but basically the fact that this game takes real-world headlines and it builds stories around them, I actually think it kind of takes what's in Hacknet one step further, and you sort of have, it's not just that you're able to learn more about the subject, or you're at least given the tools to learn more about it if you're so inclined, but it sort of works the other way too, that your real life knowledge can sort of be colored a little bit by the game, and you start imagining about sort of the secret war going on in the background behind the headlines that you read, which I think that's just like, that's fun. It's why people like alternate reality games. So I really enjoy this. It was really lucky that we got to try this out so close to the Steam sale, because I feel like a bunch of people wound up picking up this game because of that. I know I certainly picked up everything that Allison Smith made just on the strength of this game alone, and I certainly wasn't disappointed. But got it. Okay. So Apache 2.2 CVE 2007 6258 multiple stack-based buffer overflows in the legacy mod JK2 203 dev and earlier Apache modules allow remote hackers to execute arbitrary code through TCP/IP via one host header or 2 host name within the host header. This vulnerability is covered in your alpha exploit kit. Preferred delivery method TCP/IP, and the exploit to use alpha exploit kit. The other thing I should say too, like obviously both Uplink and Hacknet have, you know, certain levels of abstraction away. So like the one example of something where I'm not 100% sure how the mapping from the real... And the thing to remember too is I don't know a lot about this, and it's very clear that Alison Smith has done a lot of reading on, I guess it would be Humant and Sigint. Basically, in the Canadian context, what CSIS and CSE do. The human element would be at or human intelligence would be the CSIS side, and that would be more the Black Watchman. And then the signals intelligence, SIGINT, would be Night Team 4. And obviously, you know, law enforcement and the intelligence communities collaborate but have sort of their own responsibilities in that. So I mean, again, like the biggest thing is that I would say if there is a point that I'm not clear on, this game is just so well researched in other regards that I'm usually willing to say that I just didn't quite follow well enough myself. The only thing that I can think of that is like, okay, this isn't like this seems to be sort of a level of abstraction sort of at an uplink level, is this Fox Acid thing. Because Fox Acid seemed to be a specific type of exploit built around Firefox and Tor. Whereas here it sort of seems to have been built into this like one-stop shop of sort of like, you know, give me a number of inputs and I'll work out the details of compromising the system. Which, fair enough, you know, like obviously I don't want to be rooting around through all of these technicalities and like doing it manually. I think it's a perfectly reasonable abstraction to put into the game. But in terms of like the things that I've directly interacted with inside the game here, Fox Acid is really the only thing where I'm like, I don't quite think this, like I don't quite see how what I know about Fox Acid sort of lines up with what this tool is.
Fox Acid attack launched.
But again, like that's not so much of a slight, so much as where I'm trying to go with this really is to talk about how interesting and how really well done everything else in the game is, that there's this one node where I'm like, this is the only thing I haven't been able to say like, oh yeah, no, this is exactly like that Wikipedia thing I read.
But we need to keep digging and find a clear connection to Soft Crash. We're close. I can tell.
So, Jean-Jacques, welcome. Oh, that's Jean-Jacques, very nice. It doesn't make you scrub logs. I know Hacknet and Uplink do. The game, so I'm not going to be that good of a display of what some of the basics are inside of this. Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure if that was the, I'm not quite sure if that was the intention of the name or not. But because I know this, the developers of this game are based in Montreal, and there seem to be quite a few people from Montreal that are in it, and there's usually a play on words in a lot of the names, so apologies. So you don't need to scrub the logs, and I think the idea on this one is that this game... So like in terms of the level of detail, I won't do this while I'm in the mission, but the tutorial missions will give you links to things like Kali Linux and, you know, some Wikipedia pages on some of the NSA programs that were revealed in the Snowden leaks and things like that. So the game does go pretty in depth. But I also think the game is very much focused on giving you sort of some puzzles and a narrative to work with. And so I think things like, do you need to scrub the logs or not? It seems like those are not present in the game because in the end, and this is sort of my own personal feeling on this, I'm not entirely sure how the game is, or like the overall experience is sort of served by... going in and sort of doing, it's kind of like brushing your teeth. Like it's a good thing to do, and it's not particularly time consuming. But obviously in a game, in most games, while I kind of hope that the protagonist does brush their teeth, I personally do not want to be doing that. And I think the way that the game tends to do things like this is they usually say that you've got systems like Faye or the Stinger OS, which just happens to be a particularly advanced operating system, and so it's automated certain actions. So I would say that compared to Uplink is probably the biggest abstraction away. I'd say Night Team 4 is getting a little bit closer to what I suspect the real thing is. But it doesn't lose sight of the fact that it's a game, and I also think it doesn't lose sight of the fact that it wants to put you in this interesting story and instead make you think a little bit more about what's going on and maybe sort of reinterpret what some of day-to-day headlines are. Because they continue to update the game with new missions, and the new missions usually are based around real-world events. Like this new Goliath update was related to the G7, for instance. And so in this particular case here, I think they don't let simulation get in the way of telling a good story. But I also don't think they pull you out of the fantasy of doing, like, compromising a real system. I don't think they pull you out of that too much. So. Yeah. So that's just it. Like, I think probably Hacknet gives you a little bit more detail in terms of the minutia, which is fine, right? Because again, like the most of the activities in that game are sort of oriented around the command line, whereas this one is going to give you command line stuff to do, but it's a little bit more like solving a puzzle and trying to piece things together rather than spending a bunch of time. Like if you want to go into the terminal, presumably you can get a virtual machine and put your favorite of Linux on it. But yeah, this gets a big warm green light for me, because for me, I've been looking for a game like this. I'm at the end of the single player mission, so I feel a little bit safer to sort of talk about the experience overall. I've been looking for a game like this, and obviously if you wanted a full simulation, trying to do some kind of a password crack would take you days, and it may or may not work. In this particular case here, it takes a couple of minutes because, well, you still want the game to be fun. And in the end, trying to, this whole thing that we did here, in terms of minutia, clearly it's not necessarily the most fun thing in the world to say it's okay, so there was an acknowledged signal from this IP led to gulp.com, so we went down the rabbit hole of gulp.com, and that gave us another IP which took us to rainforest. And that gave us another, IP that gave us the hop in. And from the hop in, we had to take a look and, okay, we finally found the system that we compromised. When we're talking about minutia, that could be an example of it. But the reason why I think something like this works in the context of Night Team 4, where it might be tedious in another game, is that this is the maze, right? This is you figuring it out. You're playing the detective and you're sort of pulling on that thread and figuring out where it's going. And obviously combining it with the different things. Again, I'm at a point in the game where my system's being corrupted by this virus, so I don't actually have access to most of the features, and instead I'm using this Andromeda shell. But basically, some of the other missions, you need to use all of these different tools that you have in concert to be able to try and crack the case. And I think that's where it becomes interesting. The bits where you're doing more detailed looks are usually when you're trying to put the pieces together. So anyways, I am covering up I probably really don't need this anymore, but find a link between ICM32 and Soft Crash. Oh, well, they're not asking for much. You know what? I'm just gonna close all these and we'll get a fresh start. I'm also gonna say that we're done with the dialogue file.
Shell initiated. What can I do for you?
So yeah, just as a heads up, if you're considering this game, this is something that will only happen on the final mission. So the actual interface is a lot more like this thing. This Andromeda shell is basically we've got a virus on our system right now, which is slowly disabling features. Okay, let's start by an internal scan. Nothing useful, and we've already taken advantage of this vulnerability, so I suppose the next thing we could do, we could try a man in the middle again. Let's see if there's something more interesting we could... Oh, that's right, I don't have access to the Wi-Fi anymore, so it really does seem to be man in the middle. Okay, let's take a look at recruitment.
Network intrusion module initiated.
Hello, I believe I have something that might interest you. And you are who exactly? A benefactor. I know about your operation and I believe that I can help. Bold, but you managed to find us, so fine. Tell me what you got. It better be good, though. I wouldn't contact ICM-32 if it wasn't good. I have this document I managed to steal from a mutual enemy. We have a lot of enemies. That's our kind of deal, so maybe narrow it down a bit. It's a list of Black Watchman agents and their locations. How the hell? Okay, well, I'm definitely interested. I'm going to need to set up something ultra secure for this. I'll let you know when you can start the upload. Excellent, we can discuss payment later.
Stand by.
We need to throw everything we have against Soft Crash and ICM-32 immediately. If that list goes public, thousands of agents may die. It's time to arm Faye 2.0.
Cool. I was wondering when we get to that point. Okay, excellent. We can discuss payment later, but I would hurry with the secure server. They're currently reading this. Chat termination initiated by Soft Crash and connection terminated between Soft Crash and Unknown. And Mr. Scary Voice just said we are unleashing the ultimate weapon. Okay. Mission complete. 250 rep with the Central Intelligence Agency. I'm not actually quite sure what this star is, but... Royal Flush.
We don't have much time. If the list obtained by Soft Crash is released by Sigil, the lives of thousands of our agents will be in jeopardy. We cannot allow this to happen. We've run all possible attack scenarios against Soft Crash, and our only chance to stop it requires the activation of Faye as an offensive weapon. We've discharged Morris from NT4 for creating the prototype, but it seems there is no alternative. Arming Faye is a complex process since there are so many failsafes in place, but you have my full support, along with that of Agent Dillon and Sergeant Wheeler. We must work quickly. It is time to engage Andromeda 4.0. Your mission objectives are: review our document on Andromeda's activation procedure, activate the Andromeda security program.
I do like the stress on carefully. Soft Crash has managed to get a classified list of agents compromising their identity and position. The time to act is now. Primary objectives: open the Andromeda activation manual in your local host and activate Faye 2.0. I am mildly curious what SAD is. I'm just going to take a second here and look at Google. Okay, let's look at Wikipedia, because curiously, if you do a Google search for SAD, organizations, Special Activities Division, so it is the CIA. The Special Activities Center is a division of the United States Central Intelligence Agency responsible for covert operations. The unit was named the Special Activities Division prior to 2016. Within SAC, there are two separate groups, SAC/SOG for tactical paramilitary operations and SAC-PAG for covert political action. The Special Operations Group is a department within SAC responsible for operations that include high-threat military or covert operations with which the U.S. government does not wish to be overtly associated. Nice! As such, unit members, called paramilitary operations officers and specialized skills officers, do not typically carry objects or clothing, e.g. military uniforms that would associate them with the United States government. So Tom Clancy stuff.
one chance at this, so let's do it right. Bradshaw put the Fae 2.0 arming manual in your local host himself, so just follow the input prompts and respond accordingly. Easy, right? Right. Who cares if we're missing a page? That shouldn't be a problem in sorting through this complex series of seemingly meaningless... I'm just gonna let you work.
Thanks, Dylan. I can always rely on you. Okay, host. Gotcha. Well, I also know that there's like I think it's the CIA. So I know there's I don't know if this is so I didn't know if it was unknown names or just undisclosed casualties on its own. Okay, Andromeda activation.
So it seems like you only have a few attempts to activate Fae 2.0, and some inputs may have time limits. This whole process was never formalized, so it's all a little complicated, but just do what the manual tells you based on the input prompts. And if you're not able to activate the system in time, well, we can only hope that neither of our names are on that list. Just in case, I'll say this. It was an honor being your wingman, Agent.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. Oh my god, this is keep talking and nobody explodes. Alright, this is not going to help. In principle, I could like distribute these amongst the windows, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to familiarize myself with one. Okay, Andromeda program activation requirements, terminal commands alpha 00A, alpha 99Z, prompt command green red. Okay. All right, so it just looks like kind of key value pairs. And it does say read the manual carefully, but... Ah, here it is. Okay. So, top secret, SI relevant to Division 66, op reference Royal Gate, Andromeda Shell user guide, Agent Wheeler, tool Andromeda Shell. The Andromeda Shell is a protocol in the highly unlikely event that our systems get compromised or inflated. Oh, hang on. No, this is the same... Yeah, this is the one that's... this is actually the one that says that 2.0 is compromised. So I will keep this open, but I won't do anything... Like, I will open them on a need-to-know basis. Okay, Fae 2.0. Are you sure you want to activate Fae 2.0? No.
Fae 2.0. Activation sequence initiated.
Okay, enter the correct directions. Bravo 56A. Left up. Okay. Correct colors for Delta. 53. Red, green, green, red. Concerning. Yeah, this is not going to work. Sequence ID Delta 53Z. It wants red, green, green, red.
Fae 2.0.
2 remaining tries before lockdown.
Aborted.
Alright, well that's disappointing. I'm not 100% sure what I could have done different. I mean, I think that the one thing that's funny about this one is it's the only one that has four commands. Doesn't really seem to indicate anything to the effect of which one you need to drop, so. It's also entirely possible that it has been set up this way to make me panic, so.
Phase 2.0. Activation sequence
Okay,
initiated.
Delta 2F. 6062. Alpha 8G. So, right, left, right. Bravo 70D. 2063. Alpha 32D. Up, down, down. Bravo 2A. Go. Delta 49A. Damn it. 206869. Alpha 3D. 7765. Echo 68I. Empty. Alpha 81E. Oop.
Wait, hold on, Agent. We don't have the Charlie code page. Who's my first child? Samantha and I were close before she defected, and she didn't have any
Faye is
kids.
the first child.
Her only true passion was coding and coffee. So who could that be?
Well done, Agent. Now we can engage Andromeda 4.0's aggressive capabilities against Soft Crash. Your quick work has saved thousands of lives. Phase 2.0 will be operational in 3, 2, 1.
In 1272,
King Henry III died, while his son, Edward I, was
Off invading foreign lands.
The power vacuum almost
plunged England into civil war.
The war proclaimed.
the throne shall never be empty. The country shall never be
The power of the home monarch was transferred instantly to Edward, the warring prince.
Without a coronation or a second thought.
a small, scared group of people.
Granted a lifetime of absolute power to someone thousands of miles away.
simply to prevent the bloodshed in their immediate future.
The reverse has happened today.
You have bestowed the crown to your sleeping monarch at home.
And now I,
And now
the
I,
warring prince,
the
can
warring
rest in
prince.
peace.
Ah, neat. So this
The
was
king is dead. Long live the king.
Attention, Agent. I have just received new orders from the Black Watchman HQ. Effective immediately, all activities are suspended until further notice. Following the recent events, we have now been branded as a criminal organization with charges of cyber terrorism. The Black Watchman and its subdivisions will be under investigation by the Five Eyes, and we plan to fully cooperate with them. Soft Crash has been neutralized, but in doing so, we have to pay a heavy price for which I will shoulder the burden of blame. Despite this setback, I wanted you to know that you have performed at your best capabilities, and I am proud of what you have achieved as a unit. Teamwork is vital. Never forget it. No matter how talented you are, there are moments when things will go wrong. We've been through tough times together before and have grown stronger for it. However, this time we've been nearly demolished and left to pick up the pieces. We're down, but not out. You are the most skilled agent I know, and it was a pleasure to have you in my ranks. But for now, please lay low and be careful. This war is not over. Dismissed.
Neat. So I'm at least from what I'm understanding of what happened here, the soft crash virus was, I think it was Agent Morris, essentially baiting Night Team to turning on Faye 2.0. That is a neat ending. I will let the credits properly run, but we still have some time, so...
Whoa. Haven't seen this old configuration in a while. Welcome to Legacy 19-4, Agent. Although, to be honest, I don't know how long you'll have that title after what just happened. We may soon be Black Hats again. Well, at least we made it out in one piece. Plus, I like this color palette.
No objectives. Okay. Beta completed. Operation Royal Gate. So I am slightly curious if the if sort of the real world missions pick up from sort of the old one. Also, I'm curious if okay, yes, I do get to pick my fancy colors. I really like the Phoenix skin. I should probably change it around. Let's also see if I get any other fancy badges. I kind of like the Watcher just because it has the Twitch connection. Nothing to redeem. I didn't know about the Kickstarter until this game was out. Okay, so let's see if I can pick up, presumably, yeah, I have access to all my modules again. So let's go back to that bounty I was doing. Apparently that bounty is no longer there, so... Oh no, this was the one. But there's only 10 minutes left on the DGSE for military contractors in Yemen. So let's see if I do any better on... I do want to see if I do any better now that I have access to all the menus again. But right now we're looking at Might Media, and we need to find out what the deal is with the contractors. And we need to find their media subdomain. Okay. So in terms of, this is a little more representative of what the game is like when you're not doing one of the missions with the viruses. So
Information gathering module.
We'll start with OSINT, Might Media, and I'm doing my best to, so I had a bad habit of running these things a little too long, so I'm just going to do a 500 on the open source, and then we'll run the fuzzer in the background, but I don't think it'll matter. And we'll run that for 60 seconds because it shouldn't take that long to get the fingerprints on the others. So fingerprints, WW, local, US, and international. Tab completion is very welcome in this. And 15 seconds. There's nothing here that's familiar. Okay, so all of these are up to date, so I need to find some other way to get inside. All of these match as well. So, let's see... Okay, so we can try spearfishing. We'll also add the dictionary pattern. Okay, file format. I'll try... Huh, okay. Again, it says estimated efficiency up here, so I can try maybe... Okay, so that's 20. Oh, that's... Okay, so... This is the better one. We still only have the reverse shell VPN. I don't know if we ever get access to alternatives. And let's say... Request for proposals. Sure, I'll take 77%. So I got 113. That'll potentially open it. 77%. So presumably this shouldn't take too long. Hooray!
Turbine C2 registry.
Okay,
Connection
so given the fact that
completed.
we're looking for an internal media server, the most likely thing here is the S-fuzzer again. With Might Media, this time we'll give it a 30-second one and we'll give it the internal flag. While I'm waiting, of course, there's other little things that I can do, such as... I think it's the WMI scanner.
Information gathering module
So we can do
initiated.
NetScan. Yeah, so there's nothing on this. And there we go. There's the media server, which was the objective of the mission, so we can just go to the bounties menu and deliver it. All right, so they're happy with me. I do rather like the CSIS angle here. CSIS wants to help a Canadian company that is competing against a British pharmaceutical company. Of course, the drawback is that GCHQ would be mad at me. So in this case, we will make everyone happy with me without making anybody angry. And UK's Global Gazette has asked GCHQ for help on finding one of their missing reporters. Reporter Sebastian Bird from globalgazette.com, and find the name of the company that he was investigating. So this is the one that I struggled with when we were using the Andromeda system. So here we'll go back to Global Gazette,
Information gathering module
and
initiated.
we'll basically do everything that we did before, but this time we're not going to be restricted by the soft crash. Again, similar idea here. It takes me about a minute to do the fingerprints on everything, so I might as well have that running in the background just in case there's something
Information gathering
fancy for
module
me to look for. So,
initiated.
Global Gazette, UK World Contacts M, and Contacts was the one that had the vulnerability last time. So, but doesn't hurt to make sure that I'm doing it in the right order, or make sure that I haven't. Basically, just make sure that I haven't lost out on any of the other possibilities. It might be that there was something in the Fey version 1.0 that didn't show me what was going on. So in this case here, it doesn't take too long to do the fingerprints, and if it turns out that Contact Us is the only vulnerability, so be it. I will leave Contact Us to the end because I suspect that's going to have the Apache exploit. I've never really noticed the authority on the end here. I should probably figure out what that means, but everything else is the same as before, so. Okay. Oh, sorry, it was MS Exchange, so,
Information gathering module
let's
initiated.
search MS, nope. Terminal operator level 5. Enter 1,000 command lines in a terminal. Also, I do notice that there is an achievement. Deception, fail the activation of Fey 2.0. Interesting. Maybe I should try that. I didn't even think about what the possibility would be of failing it. I always just kind of assume that a game gives you a way of completing things. But okay, let's do Fox Acid, and I think it's TCP/IP and Alpha. Yeah. So we read that earlier in the stream, so I'll skip over the details. Also, because if I can, I'd like to at least try one of the other story missions. After seeing that ending, I kind of want to see what the other missions are like.
Connection completed.
Okay, so this is where we were last time, and we couldn't really make a lot of headway after this. So we'll start with NetScan, and it should just have two things. There's the Active Directory and the printer. Although, seeing as I'm already inside here, we'll try our good old friend, the S-Fuzzer, on internals. Okay. Now, one of the things that I did not realize...
Information gathering module initiated.
Okay, so here we were able to access the Active Directory. It seems that on Fey 2.0 we weren't able to. So... got Samantha. Oh, that's right. We've got, this is the brother and sister, so I'll make my notes as before. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can just add it to the case file. BGA Scoop of the Year, birth date, March 10th, 79, reporter Sebastian Bird, sbird at globalgazette.com, twin brother of San, loves sensational stories, cash. Right, actually, I think I might have enough to do... I might actually have enough to do the a password attack here. Because I remember before I actually tried the twin, and I think that was
attack and intrusion
kind of
initiated.
An unnecessary step. So Spurred. And seeing as I know the password module a little bit better.
Awaiting variables to launch attack.
The age is always a tricky one. Where were we? Come on. Here we go. It's October. Okay. So here we're just adding kind of information that might be relevant to the attack. Nope, Sam. I'm gonna guess sensational. Doesn't count. Maybe something about their editor. Nope. I did try twin, right? All right, well, I'll live with what I've got here. I don't want to wait 10 minutes, so let's maybe cancel. All right, I'm gonna work with what we got here. Because all these other ones are just gonna take too long. A minute isn't too bad though. And then as far as searching for any internals, we didn't find anything inside there, so this will hopefully be enough. I suppose the alternative would be to try and check out Sam like we did last time. I think that's under administration. Yes, Esperd 1. So we could take a look at Samantha Bird and find out... I mean, it's possible that there's a copy... actually, sorry. So O'Brien, as editor, might have a copy of his article. Sister might have information about him. But if we just wind up, you know, a minute can be a long time to wait if you're on a stream, but this isn't exactly... Like, this isn't a bridge too far as password attempts are concerned. So we'll see if it turns out. If it doesn't... I mean, we could try a more in-depth search using some of the other methods while we look for some of Samantha's information and stuff like that. I don't know if I can have more than one of these running at a time. But... we'll see. For some reason, I thought when I used it, I wasn't 100% clear that you were opting into different methods. So I think for a while I always used John the Ripper and then included a bunch of information that would have been irrelevant to that crack. Oh, it looks like we're not going to make it. Interesting.
Password attack unsuccessful.
Okay, do I really want to try LinkedIn? I mean, like, social media would probably be the better of the two options, but we'll run this in the background. But I think now trying O'Brien, the editor, is the next step. So actually, I don't even need to worry about that. I'll just open another instance. I've taken leave of my senses. There we go. Okay.
And intrusion module.
So similar idea here. We're going to find, in this case, we need to find the Mcache for his editor. So GG5N2ZDD mws.com. And that is B. O'Brien. So one of the things... Wrong host or username. Is there maybe a way I can copy this so I don't make the mistake? Yes, here we go. But that's not the right one. Okay. GG5N2ZDDMECACHEMWS.com BOBRIEN. There we go. So my reasoning for going for the editor over the twin is that I ultimately think going for the twin is going to, it's basically going to mean getting additional information for what's already going to be a long attempt on, it's going to be a long attempt on the original reporter. So this is sort of like either I get it or I don't. So this kind of seems to be the more, to me at least, the more obvious avenue to go down. So, and he was in 69, so 50. Okay, that's slightly more hopeful. So all of these other ones seem to just take too long to be practical. I'm a little curious what'll help out on selecting those, but in this case, a 2-minute search is not going to be terrible. It'll still be done before our more thorough attempt on his reporters. And maybe we get lucky and it doesn't take the full run. So that's that beep in the background was contactus.globalgazette is expiring. Oh, but we do actually need access to the Active Directory. I'm curious if this will just automatically close down on me or not.
Password successfully compromised.
Cool. Lovely day 99. Thank you, Bruce.
Network disconnected.
So as long as... Okay. So the one drawback here... okay, good. So I was a little worried that I wouldn't have his Mcache, location, but it turns out we don't need to worry about that. That's still in the password attack. I also closed one too many windows, but I think I'll be able to overcome. So GG5N2ZDD Mcache.ws.com. Oh boy. Maybe it'll let me copy. Hooray. And I don't need to remember any of this. It lets me load it up from the other module. All right, and unfortunately, there is nothing relevant. I mean, I suppose the fact that he's a sports editor was probably the hint that that wasn't going to get us anywhere. So let's jump back into contact us.
Server connection initiated.
So I'm pretty sure it was TCP/IP with an alpha exploit.
Fox acid attack launched. Fox acid attack successful. Connection completed. Information gathering module initiated.
It's a little premature to
Information gathering
close all
module
those windows, but
initiated.
so again, the natural, and seeing as it's editor-in-chief, this is probably the more sensible target to have gone for in retrospect. Of course, in 20 seconds, we'll figure out whether or not that time was well spent or not. But it doesn't matter. We'll just open up another password attack and see what we can do.
Successfully compromised.
Oh, cool. So sets me free. Well, maybe I won't need to worry about the sister after all. Okay. Oh, did I just close? I did. Wait. I'm not losing my mind. It did give us... Oh, that's so frustrating. I'm mildly tempted to actually go back and look at the video. It was like sets me free or something like that. But if I don't get like the capitalization correct... Okay, well, looks like I'm running this in the background again. But I am still going to try and compromise the editor-in-chief because I don't really want to wait 6 minutes for that. And I'm also too lazy to check my video.
Password attack and intrusion module initiated.
Okay, GG high 2-bit MWS. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. because usually it shouldn't take this long to compromise something. So I'm pretty sure the sister is exclamation mark sets me free. Okay, I do kind of want to see whether or not the sister is an answer to this, because these come back. But thank you for that. If the sister doesn't turn out to be a worthwhile avenue, I'll use that there. You're saying if you're looking for what the editor's reporter was looking for, why are you discounting sports? The fact that somebody is an editor at a paper doesn't necessarily mean that the reporter directly reports to them. Whereas the editor-in-chief is, in addition to the fact that they're family, makes it much more likely that Samantha would have been the one to get the information and not O'Brien.
Target acquired. Awaiting variables.
No, the not Sam, the brother is an investigative reporter. And the bird should be age 30. Oh. It's twin sisters, so they should have the same birthday, shouldn't they? Oh, sorry, 39, that's right. Well, but this is the thing. It doesn't say anywhere that it is one of his. So this is the list of journalists. So O'Brien, like, I imposed the idea that he reported to him, but there's nothing to say in this directory that that this reporter actually reports to this guy. We just know that Bruce O'Brien is an editor and that his specialty is sports. Whereas Sebastian is investigation, social media, and politics. We've also got M. Kirk, R. Solomon, and S. Neilman. So there's one editor in the batch, but the more likely candidate on two fronts would be the family tie, as well as the fact that she's the editor-in-chief. Anyways, okay. Wait, it's not press awards, it would be amnesty. Well, that one worked. I still... Oh. Yeah, so all this winds up being super long. So if Samantha doesn't... Oh, actually, you know what? They'll be finishing it roughly around the same time. So, again, I do kind of want to know whether or not Sam works. But... Please don't let that be a signal of I don't want to use your password in the channel. I really did want to see whether or not this was a correct path that I could go down. Because, like, obviously if all of my hacks wind up being ones that take 6 minutes to do a password attack, then that just simply means that I'm going to be sitting in front of my monitor for 6 minutes every time I do a bounty, and obviously 10 reputation isn't necessarily worth that amount of time. So
Password successfully compromised.
It's forensics. There we go. What do I keep getting wrong on this? GG-W6A2XB.MEC. Ah.
Password successfully compromised.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's just ignoring the fact that I've cracked Sebastian's password. Yeah, so your DNA is for sale is the article he's working on, which is that's the thing that's going to give you the information that you need. But the whole reason why we waited for this stuff is so I could see whether or not the editor-in-chief was an appropriate target. So we're going to go GG high 2 bits. You're kidding me. No, stop. Yeah, apparently we just don't get to save our Esperd 1 articles to verify. Ah, interesting. So this would have been wasted time. So your DNA is for sale. Sebastian Bird Global Gazette, your DNA is for sale. Their tests may not be expensive, but the real cost is your privacy. Ever since forensic science has become more and more popular as a tool for finding criminals, corporations have been trying to find a way to capitalize in this untapped market, especially during the social networking age where everyone wants to know everything about anybody. Enter DNA ancestry companies like Genome, which is going to be the thing that we tell the British, which, using a friendly facade, offer to plunge deep into your family's past at the low cost of £79.99. What arrives at your home is a DNA kit and an easy-to-understand pamphlet asking you for a few drops of blood, a strand of hair, and a swab of saliva. Once you have the materials, you ship the kit back to Genome, wait a few days, and they send you a complete document on your lineage, any hereditary diseases running through your family, and other horrific details that you may not even know about. Sounds fun, right? Sadly, what they fail to clearly disclose is that they reserve the right to keep this information so that they can sell it to ad execs and other predatory companies, as well as provide your DNA to any law enforcement agencies that ask for it. It's all hidden in their ridiculously long terms of service. As long as the buyers have the money, your blood is for sale to the highest bidder. Editor, a little redundant here, try to trim it. For our investigation, I paid for a kit and filled out the necessary information, but for testing purposes, I sent them a vial of my blood mixed with our intern's blood, as well as a dog's hair and saliva to see what would come up in our results. Note, add results here, we'll finish the rest tomorrow. Okay, now we did just finish this particular mission here, and I am running a little short on time. Oh, actually, let's not cancel it, because I might want to do that on my own time. But I do want to try the open world ones. I can't make any promises of making progress on them, because from what I understand, they're a little bit tougher. I also haven't worked out a really good way to show what I am looking at on the monitor because, well, as it describes here, open world missions are optional assignments for agents looking for a bigger challenge. You'll need to venture outside of the Stinger OS in order to investigate and come back to execute your attacks. Complete these challenges for special rewards. So this is the most recent one that was added here, G7 2019 Chapter 2 Executive Error. But what I would like to do is sort of do them in chronological order. So in this case, October 2018 Delicate Drive. Okay, Mission A018, October 2018, Part 1, Delicate Drive. Mission Overview. Night Team 4 recently identified Maria Sagatsume as Delicate Drive, a black hat responsible for many recent attacks against the American banking system. Ascertain her current status and location, and our recruitment team will determine how best to proceed. So it's an investigation mission, apparently minimal real life. It's an advanced mission, ambient spy agent. I get a whopping 10 XP and 1 avatar. So let's take a look at the briefing document. Now it's opened up a browser window. So this is a little bit more like the Black Watchman. One thing I actually kind of liked about Night Team 4 was that it did a lot more stuff sort of in the game, which is just a personal preference on my part. But I'll actually for this one, I can probably just turn on full screen mode. Oh, right. This is going to be a bit of a pain. I don't know how clear this is going to be for everyone, but I'll at least hit the fit button. So North American Operations, Phoenix, Arizona. 1904 recently identified Maria Sagatsume as Delicate Drive, a black hat responsible for many recent attacks against the American banking system. 2 days ago, Sagatsume failed to appear to a NT4 recruitment meeting in Phoenix, Arizona, and Delicate Drive has since gone dark. We suspect she has been apprehended by a third party. Ascertain her current status and location, and our recruitment team will determine how best to proceed. Sagatsume is a high-value asset, and this mission is sensitive. Stinger OS. See, this is the challenge. I don't know how many... Okay. I wonder if this was something that they gave in the Black Watchman, then. Anyways, this is the Steam page for the game. There's a demo, and it is available for Windows and Mac. It currently costs $39.99 Canadian. You can buy it as a bundle if you don't already have Hacknet, or actually it's possible that you'll also get the discount if you already own Hacknet. I think that's how Steam does bundles. I get 30% off. So I have not played this one, but I have played a little bit of the Black Watchman. These are really cool games, so I do recommend that you check them out. But we're going to be focusing on this one. Phoenix is the economic, cultural, and administrative capital of Arizona. It is located in the Valley of the Sun in the southwestern United States. Population 1,615,000. Time zone UTC-7. Dialing code 1602. None of which I think is going to be relevant for the mission, but you never know. Phase 1, family ties. Sagatsume's husband, Anthony, refuses to cooperate with us. You have been authorized to access his network, archive ID 2D8H9J. Ah, okay, so they're actually integrating it with the Black Watchman. And research any time-sensitive intel on Maria Sagatsume's appearance. So this is one of the things that's neat about the Black Watchman is so you access this playing the Black Watchman, but because it's a website, you don't actually need to own it to be able to do this mission. I wonder if they changed the Black Watchman specifically so they could do this. It strikes me as something that would have always have been the case. But I don't know, right? I never played it, so. Again, I'm taking my life in my hands by having a live browser available to the entire Twitch community. We're not on phase 2 yet. Yeah, so let's see what we've got here. Prepared October 5th, 2018. Background report, short form, Division 66. Division 66, 1751 Richardson Street, Unit 4114, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, H3K 1G6. I wonder if that's the address for Allison Smith. I'm not going to go to the Allison Smith website, but let's see. This is the Black Watchman of the Black Watchman. Nope, they're on Brewster. Okay. Archive code D2H9J, reference 1904 mission 101801, Delicate Drive, subject number, same as before. Alias Anthony Sagatsume, date of birth July 14th, 1988, Guatemalan American, address 2310 North 16th, Phoenix, Arizona 85006, current phone number 602-555-2317, email address asagatsume@macadon.net. Yeah, I'd rather not. I don't need to send them an email. And it's debatable that Macadon is going to be a good lead, but spouse Maria Sagatsume, non-applicable high school, inter-American school, I have no idea how to pronounce any of these. Quetzaltenango, Guatemala, graduated 2006, College University, Arizona State University, Phoenix, U.S., computer science, graduated 2010. Mr. Sagatsume is a software engineer at Macadon Telecom. Okay, so this does actually become a slightly better lead. He has no criminal record, a good credit rating, and is never enlisted in the military. Mr. Sagatsume is currently under level 4 human and level 7 cyber surveillance in relation to his wife Maria's recent disappearance. No military service is indicated in the overview. Company Albemarle Toboggan, where is a cook, Burger Barn, cook, retail sales at Verizon, Macedon Telecom, where he's a software engineer and apparently has acted as a consultant on various research projects. No records with City Police, Federal Agency, Global Alert Watch, CIA, Interpol, and a lot of this already tells us, although of course having a MAC address and may have separate surveillance intel, check availability in the archive. Well, this is the part that's a little weird to me. D28H9J. Because presumably there would be some other number or some other file related to any of this. And I don't believe there's any information about his wife. I mean, presumably there would be a file on his wife, but it's not one that was given to us as part of the mission. So, let's close this down for the stream for now. Let's jump back into the game. No support tools. So, essentially what we need to do is start open world. We'll close all this down. And we will take the leads that we've got, in particular Macedon and the guy's cell phone. So sint, wait, that's macedon.com or .net, I can't remember. .net, MAKADON. Oops. I hope I didn't adjust anything on the channel. And while I'm waiting, I always like doing the S-fuzzer, so... And 60 is usually how long it takes me to run through everything else, so... We'll try the cell phone, but I just want to see what other options we have on all of this stuff first, so... We'll start with the good old-fashioned sort of finger everything, and then we'll maybe look at the IPs. I don't know if the IPs will really tell me all that much, but again, we have a minute while it does the S-fuzzer. So, so I should say fingerprint. I just abbreviate because I usually just write finger and tab complete. I should just say fingerprint every domain. Abbreviations are fine, but that's... I'm sure that one has at least been inspiring a few giggles each time I forget. Okay, nothing exciting, and we actually found less through the S-fuzzer, so we may have to go for the cell phone, but I'm not quite ready to give up on this one yet, so... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I actually want to do I should have kept the... So here I'm just going to do a quick OS in... Wait, there's SSH? You know, that's something we'll investigate later. So here we'll do 87, 144, 206, 48. I'm an idiot. What am I doing? Okay. I should have quit while I was ahead. So the thing is that the OSN scans aren't too long, and on the odd chance that we get another lead, I kind of want to take advantage of that. The worst case scenario, I could try Spearfish. The best, of course, would be if I can get the husband himself, but that's like a 1 in a million shot. Okay, nothing interesting there. So rather than try the spearfish right away, we do have a slightly better lead in the form of this phone. So if he won't volunteer his help, at the very least, I'm just going to grab the MAC address out of the PDF. I'm just copying. It seems to me that we'll at least go,
Network intrusion module.
like, we'll go to the most direct source of information. And in this case, this is the husband. Now, there might be some other opportunities to get some information, but like obvious things like, you know, the message. Wait a minute, iOS on this fictional. Fair enough. Yeah, like, so the idea, there's a few things that we can do. I'm going to assume that Maria is our target, right? That's shameful that I forgot, but yes, it is Maria. But yeah, so I'm going to assume messages will wind up telling me some things, but I just want to take a look at our other possibilities. Notes, meeting with Ben about a new project, November 3rd, book flight to San Fran. Meeting with Kumi Matsumono about Maria's case and best legal defense. Okay, so I'm going to add that name. Sorry, Matsuno. It's unlikely that we're going to be able to get anything out of that, but that seems like useful information. So let's start with Maria. Can you pick up some Chinese on your way home? Thanks. Any requests? Yes, that my husband brings home Chinese food. I thought that was clear. Alrighty then, just plain steamed rice it is then. And fortune cookies. White rice and fortune cookies. Very informative. Jonathan Boone. Oh, wait, hang on. Do we have Kumi in this list? We do not. Let's just read everything that we do. Traffic is terrible this morning. Tell Emmett I'll be at least another 15 minutes. Just start the meeting without me. You sure there's supposed to be some important announcement today? Yeah, knowing Emmett, he'll talk for half an hour about last quarter's sales figures before we get to anything new. You weren't wrong. Wow, this was a useless meeting. I know those. Still on for beer Saturday? You know it. See you then. See, if we had a time for this, this would actually give us information about when they're coming. Oh, hang on. Provider. It's the phone provider. It is an iPhone. Sorry, I didn't realize that. If we had like some times about when these messages were sent, we might be able to use them in the Wi-Fi. But on the other hand, like, we've already got access to this guy's phone, right? So that's Mom. How is she? Any news? I'm en route now. Should be about an hour to Eloy. I hope there's no traffic. I don't want to miss visitation period. This is also ridiculous. She didn't do anything. Just please make sure that she's safe. I'm sure she's safe, but I'll let you know more after we talk. Now I need to be safe and stop texting while driving. And Emmett, thank you again for giving me the time off with such short notice. I'm en route to see her now. No problem. Good luck, and let me know if you need more time off. Wish her the best for me. Thanks. Okay, so we didn't really learn a whole lot that we didn't already know. This doesn't mean that there isn't information that could become useful later. But for now, the phone hasn't really told me anything that I needed to know. I'll keep it in the case file just because there is there's the possibility that I might need it. But for now, I'm going to try the next best thing, which was the spearfishing. We obviously have his email directly, but let's just take a minute and I closed all the windows. This is going to be particularly grim if I'm not allowed to do that. M-A-K-A-D-O-N. M-A-K-A-D-O-N. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna have to do a really good email then. Unfortunately, the PDF would not let me. Really, they give me an email address in the document, and they don't allow for the possibility that I want to do a set attack on that. Okay, I see how it is. No social engineering then. Okay, so we're on the phone. Ah, yes, this is an important thing. We might actually be able to get something internal out of the... I'll do 30 because this will be the only thing that we're running.
Information gathering module initiated.
OS won't help me. I'm pretty sure I've tried all of these already. Okay. Let's try another OS in... Nope. This time we're going to do Google, Bing. We'll do 1,000.
Information gathering.
And if memory serves,
initiated.
the SFuzzer actually gave us less that time around, but I will just double check that I will just double check that I didn't miss out on anything. Ah, customer login is one that we didn't see before. Or maybe we did and I just don't remember it, but... Yeah, actually we would have, because they go up by 1. Now there's the other possibility, because it goes 48, 49, 50, 51, it's possible that there might be an IP on the edges of either one of these. So let's do... Actually, before I do that, let's try... scan on A7, 144, 206. Actually, I wonder if I can do a partial. Yeah. Fair enough. Let's try 47. I guess I didn't need to do the 2 search engines, but can't hurt, it's only 500, so. It's a bit of a flyer, but just because there's a pattern emerging. Okay. So nothing on that front. I do just want to double check that I'm not making some terrible spelling mistake or something like that, because I really feel like... No? Fair. I mean, it's possible that I need to consult something in the real world. Did I already check intranet? Yes, I did. So everything's up to date there. I don't think I can do a WMI scan on a phone.
Module initiated.
Yeah. Am I even connected to it? Yes, I am. Although I think if I want to connect to, sorry, I should have been a little more thoughtful in terms of how I did that. How I did that internal scan, because I'm not actually connected to anything at Macedon, and it looks like this guy isn't at home, or he doesn't have Wi-Fi. Or sorry, if this guy is at home, he doesn't have Wi-Fi at home, and if he's at work, he doesn't have Wi-Fi at work. The manual entry doesn't know. That, or, I mean, the other possibility that I can allow for is that the copy and paste somehow corrupted it. So there's one more, I'll do one more attempt where I'm actually just individually typing it in. I suppose I can, like, I can sort of see why. Like, if it's a single ASAGATSUME@MAKADON. Yeah. Hello, Freighter5.
I would never want to belong to any club.
Rooney Acrasia, thank you very much for the follow and the Twitch Prime subscription.
Network intrusion module initiated.
So, let's think a bit about what we're up to. Acrasia. Sorry, it's weird. Sorry, Greek. No problem. I mean, I'm pretty bad at pronouncing names in the best of circumstances anyway, so I appreciate that that was not enough of a barrier to keep you from following and subscribing. So, thank you very much for doing so. So yeah, let's just jump back to, I'm gonna go through the phone. So like the way I kind of like going through these sorts of things in terms of, it's great, not you. Okay. The way I kind of like going through these things is that one of the most common holes that I dig myself into in this game and games like this in general is I make an assumption about, it's like, okay, well, it can't be X. So as, you know, absurd as it seems, or as, you know, outlandish or galaxy brain as it seems, I want to just take a minute and eliminate possibilities. So this involves, you know, going back through the documents. This involves going back through the phone. So, we've already got the phone. So like the phone is the one reliable piece of information that we've been given from the mission itself. And it, let me just double check. Yeah. So we got that from the document. And again, it doesn't say, you know, we tried the email. That was going to be our second best guess, because obviously there's always that probabilistic element in terms of, the set attacks. But what we'll do here is we'll just exhaust the phone's possibilities. If the phone really doesn't give us anything, then we just go a step, you know, an even more fundamental step back, and we say, okay, so now let's take a look at the document and see if there was anything else that I was missing out on. By the way, Rooney, are you somebody who plays Night Team 4, or did you just happen to stop by and just like this beautiful Phoenix background? And Freighter5 says you did that Crusader Kings 2 Humble Bundle thing, so that has been eating your life. I'm glad you were enjoying it. I actually debated on getting a Humble ID despite the fact that, or like the affiliate link, despite the fact that I sort of talked about how generally uncomfortable I would be with it. Because I sort of feel like Crusader Kings is a good fit, and it's something that people like would probably put something towards the stream for. But I ultimately didn't pull the trigger on that, and I don't know, needless to say, I'm happy that people are still taking advantage of it and are enjoying the game, because I actually think it's a decent way to get people into it. Obviously, you can look at that big list of DLC and feel a little intimidated. So I think that that bundle does a nice job of getting people on top. Oh, cool. Are you one of these crazy people crazy people meant in an affectionate way, who has used the network administrator tool to create mind-bending puzzles, or are you someone who just enjoys the game? Enjoys the game at the surface level or the player level. Okay, so we've got Ben about new project, November 3rd, book of flight, San Francisco, and Kumi. We do have so there is a little bit of a connection here in the sense of Kumi Matsuno. So that one was that was kind of a light connection, but the problem on this one is unless we have like a yellow pages inside of the book or inside of the game, this isn't going to be enough for me to actually latch on. So jumping in with no prior knowledge here, but the phone's Wi-Fi connection give any connection information. Also, is it possible to access the airport network? Well, in this case, so I mean, when I look at the phone's information here, it does say that it's connected to Wi-Fi, but when I go under the Wi-Fi settings, there isn't anything inside here. And then I believe for the air crack, you actually need to be, so I believe this air crack would be specifically for the computer that I am on, and I'm not actually connected, so.
Turbine
I also,
registry initiated.
I don't think phones show up here. I believe phones are separate entities. All right, where were we? Yeah, so I mean, out of the things inside of notes, I think the Kumi connection is the more likely one, but where were we? I know we read all of these before. I just want to double check that I'm not missing out on any of these. I don't really know what you mean by bank and airport, and I do kind of like figuring these things out on my own. So I don't know if you've done this mission and you're just trying to point me towards the solution, or if I'm just missing the things that you're referencing to. So the one dilemma that I've got with some of these elements here, so there's obviously some work connections and all of that. Normally what I would have done in these particular cases would be to use, I'm so bad, I use an actual iPhone, so I'm used to just using this button in slightly different circumstances rather than the top. But normally what I'd be doing is I'd kind of be taking these names as potential leads if I've already compromised a server. But this is the problem, is that the best that we can do is currently access the phone. I know the calls are all, like this doesn't lead to anything. The contacts, again, everything here, it's says encrypted, so we can look at it, but that's all we can really do with it. Actually, I guess the one thing I might want to do, at least like the names that might give me some kind of... Actually, if I'm going to do this, I might as well do it for them all. Anything that gives me like a... Probably not a GPS coordinate, but like something that gives me something to grasp onto, but I don't really think any of these contacts are telling me anything new. Okay, so contacts eliminated, calls eliminated. There is content in notes and messages, but clearly nothing that we can make any work with right now. We've got a bunch of information about the phone, but of course we've already been able to access the phone, so the MAC address isn't really important to me right now. And then as far as the Wi-Fi is concerned, we don't have any... no worries, Rooney. I just wanted to... The biggest challenge that I run into, and especially with games like this, because I know there is a culture in this game, and I think it's actually a really positive thing of people helping each other. And I don't... Like, I also kind of get that I'm somewhat of a guest to this, to this game and this community. But especially because I have a tendency to have some sort of breaks away from the game, and there's a certain degree of me running through. I actually know that there's a lot, even on like the Hive Mind ones, because I took a quick look on the forums, and I noticed there's a lot of like, how do you beat X puzzle ones? And it seems that really, if you want, a lot of the puzzles are there to sort of, solve without too much difficulty. But I've also learned, especially with like the Black Watchman stuff, that really if you drink from that well, it's a lot easier to do it the next time. And then I tend to find that I don't learn a lot of this stuff, so I actually don't mind banging my head against this too much. And part of what I'm trying to do here is just learn a systematic way of approaching these kinds of problems. Because, for instance, the last mission that we did, I said, well, clearly it won't, like, I won't be navigating a whole file system to find the information. Well, as it turns out, it was in the Intel folders that I said, clearly the game wouldn't make me do X. So yeah, in this particular case here, like the information that I've been given, we've got the MAC address, and the only possibilities we can work with right now are notes and messages. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is kind of the introduction to the open world stuff. So this is a great way for me to say, okay, so this is kind of what I'm up against. It says that there's a minimal real world interaction, but clearly there is some step that I need to make that I haven't done yet, and it's likely something that I haven't. It's likely something I haven't encountered yet. So essentially, the way that I'm approaching this right now, so we've already done the fingerprints on all of the different domains that we've run into. There's nothing going on there. I don't believe I can do a WMI scan, aircrack, or Active Directory on just a phone on its own. So, as far as the phone is concerned, we've exhausted that possibility, and if there's something inside of the notes or the messages, I haven't figured it out yet. So the next step for me, I could try an X key score, but we don't actually have any we don't have any entries related to these. I guess we could say by open world, but oh yeah, no, we've already got everything selected and it's not in there. So we can eliminate X key score as a possibility. More importantly, I think the game would tell me. I could try and find. Okay, for lack of any better options, I will go back to the document, but let's just see if I can find some latlons for Phoenix. Now, the problem with this is that I don't actually think there's any value in doing this because the question is like, okay, so I can get drone coverage over Phoenix. Great. To what end? Like, what am I looking for? Yeah, in this case, it says I don't have satellite coverage. Maybe if we... This seems fairly broad, but yeah, so it's not going to give me that. So, sure, there's the possibility there's something about Macedon that I've missed, but let's go back to the document and let's see if there was something that I missed out on, especially with regards to where it says, note subject may have separate surveillance intel, check availability in the archive. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And again, we'll head back to the folder. I'm actually going to start with the mission briefing itself. So we've got 10/18, October 2nd, 2018. North American Operations, Phoenix, Arizona. Major B. Molko, Human, Agent S. Ulsdahl, GeoInt, Specialist S. Hewitt, SIGINT, NT4 Assignment, SIBINT. 10/18, Special Operations, 19/4, recently identified Maria Sagatsume as Delicate Drive. A black hat. Well, yeah, so I haven't been looking for anything related to Delicate Drive, but I also don't think that's enough on its own. Blackout responsible for many recent attacks against the American banking system. 2 days ago, Sekitsumi failed to appear to a Night Team 4 recruitment meeting in Phoenix, Arizona. Delicate Drive has since gone dark. We suspect she has been apprehended by a third party. Ascertain her current status and location, and our recruitment team will determine how best to proceed. Sakatsume is a high-value asset, and the mission is time-sensitive. Incidentally, so somebody talking about the possibility that I was allowing for was this Kumi Matsuno. So it needs a location here. I'm allowing for the possibility that this Kumi individual is the one that's recruiting them for the alternative team. So this game, almost a realistic hacking simulator, except that I haven't seen you call someone, ask them for their password, and get it yet. So the way the game represents that is through the set. It doesn't do calls. That's an uplink thing. But what it does do in the game instead is it does the equivalent thing in email. Right. Ascertain current status and location, and our recruitment team will determine how best to proceed. Execute high value target, mission critical. Stinger OS again just leads me to the Steam page, so it's not that. Phoenix is the economic, cultural, administrative capital of Arizona. It's located in the Valley of the Sun in the southwestern United States. 1.6 million population, UTC -7, dialing code. Again, none of this stuff is really relevant to me, right? I've had people willingly tell you their password all the time at your job. That's horrifying, Freighter 5, but also not surprising. Okay, Phase 1, family ties. Sekatsume's husband, Anthony, refuses to cooperate with us. You have been authorized to access his network, archive ID 2D8H9J, and research any time-sensitive intel on Maria Sekatsume's disappearance. All intrusion operations must be conducted exclusively under the Stinger OS penetration and cyber attack platform. And then we can access archive.blackwatchman.com. I'm not going to go full screen with it again. I am, however, going to put the archive call number in again. Not that I think it's going to do anything different, but... Okay, single file, view file, prepared October 5th, short form, Division 66. The archive number is the exact same for subject and archive code and the reference. And again, we've got a bunch of information, so like if I tried to crack a password or something like that, I think even then there would be a possibility, but we just don't have... Like, the question would be, like, what file system am I trying to get on? I can do... Actually, here's one...
Information gathering module initiated.
Ridiculous thing I'll do. Because I have absolutely nothing else to do. We'll do Google, Bing, we'll do depth 2000. So this will take a longer time to run, but it's running in the background while I'm doing... it's running in the background while I'm reading the file again, so... It's like, no, please don't tell me. I actually don't want to know. Yeah, followed with, and how long has it been since you changed it? How many other sites do you use it on? When you used to do email support, you once had a guy email saying, my credit card got hacked. Here's my new credit card information. That's glorious. I've played that joke once on someone in the sense of saying, like, you know, all I need is your credit card number, and somebody started telling it to me. But, like... when that happened, I stopped saying stuff like that. So like the one possibility I can allow for is like to try and do a file browse on like one of these things here. But even then I actually don't, I think I actually need to be on the system before I can use the file browser. So all of this stuff would be useful for a password crack. But again, I need to crack the password somewhere. So again, name Anthony, date of birth July 14th, 88. Guatemalan American. Got an address 2310 North 16th Street, Phoenix, Arizona 85006. I mean, I can make a wild guess and say that, you know, Maria's at home, but that doesn't strike me as a particularly useful insight. More importantly, that is a guess. Oh, this is just a sanity check, but does the phone number match? 602-555-2317. Yes, so the phone number matches. There's not a second one running around out there. Loves Chinese food. Yes, more information we can put into the password hack. Or, well, Maria loves the Chinese food, but Fitterfy. Oh, sorry. It's a real. Too bad too many people don't pay. Yeah. It's hard to stop people without sounding rude when they just want to blurt out this info. Yeah, especially if you scream, "I don't want to hear it." Okay. We've got a high school. We've got a college. A software engineer at Hackathon Telecom. No criminal record. Good credit rating. Has never been enlisted in the military. 4 human, which is not relevant to me right now. 7 Cybint. And like all of these jobs, the Macedon, like, he's been there a while, so when it says time-sensitive information, there really isn't time-sensitive information. So the funny thing here is when it says level 7 surveillance and network intrusion via email and cell phone, like, I genuinely would have thought that you use the social engineering toolkit in that case, because it really does seem to be the only other credible lead. In this case, I'm not going to copy and paste anything. I'm actually going to type it out and just painstakingly make sure that I'm I'm not adding errors. And it's one of these ones where I kind of know it's not going to work, but it's one of these points where I just want to allow for the possibility. I think I've even tried this actually. So ASAGASTUME. ASAGASTUME at MAKADON.NET. Yeah. And again. Huh. I've heard that apparently some of the Black Watchman stuff doesn't work anymore, but I don't think that's true for Night Team 4, especially because it's relatively new. So if there is a set attack, it's not apparent, like we don't have the information that we need to get it. Did I really close that OS in that I spent so much time on? I know it was the same.
Initiated.
I know it was the same as last time, but
Password attack and intrusion module initiated.
yes. So the real world website that I've got so far is from, so it does say minimal, which is also the rating that the other things in like in the main story that doesn't require external references. So I was kind of making a guess here that there isn't a huge real world component. So the Yeah, all this. So the drawback on this one, like I took a look at macadon.net and it seemed to put me towards something which I really do not want to click the link for. Like that's a level of ARG that I'm not willing to work on. But yeah, there is the possibility for external websites. But in this case here, like there's just not that many external websites to work with. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to run that OSN scan again. And I'm actually going to try the password attack against macadon.net. This time I'm just going to use Bing and we'll do depth 1000. The next sort of step that I've got is like we've got the Macadon, we've got a username from the email, and so I'm just going to try some password attacks, seeing whether or not macadon.net, see if any of that stuff sticks. It's unlikely it will, but intranet is, I mean, yeah. And then there's always the possibility that I got the name right, but ASAG. Ah. ASAG. ASTUME. So, you know, now I need to try these again because I had the wrong customer login sort of seems like the sort of thing that that username should work for, but okay. Yeah, so I mean, again, this was a pretty out there possibility anyway, just because, and I'm assuming the hash, yeah, we don't have anything for the hash. I mean, oops. Yeah, so the thing about the previous reports, normally you do need, like, there's a whole database of this stuff in the game, but it's normally like it gives you sort of some kind of a breadcrumb somewhere. So I think I already did the S-fuzzer, but I mean, again, I've got nothing else to do, so let's give it the 90. I think it wound up giving me less than the OSINT last time. Okay, back to basics. So basically, normally there's like a archive call number. So in this case, the file tells you, husband Anthony refuses to cooperate with us. You have been authorized to access the network. Archive ID 2D8H9J, which is what we're currently looking at right now. It has one file. Actually, I could just give you, excuse me. What's the meeting that he mentioned in the text? So that would be a work meeting, unless you're referring to Maria. Or not, sorry, not Maria, the note. So meeting with Kumi Matsuno about Maria's case and best legal defense. So this is obviously the most promising lead as far as a name is concerned, but the challenge is that normally the way that you get leads in terms of like the way you turn like names into leads is you use X key score, and we don't have access to any information that's relevant to that. Although I suppose like we could try and pull out a username out of that. I don't know. Let's see if we can find some other usernames from the. Actually, this is a real stretch, but just so I can allow...
Password attack and intrusion module.
Actually, I also want to just
initiated.
double check that a man in the middle... Yeah, that's got to be a VPN thing. Okay. I thought it did, but... So just so I can put my mind at ease, I will... Oh, hang on. I wonder if there is something different in the Black Watchman archive. Let's take this case ID. That just reopens that file. Okay, so again, this I don't think there's going to be anything out of this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try these Macedon sites again. Oh. Actually, the first thing I should be trying is to actually see if I can get onto any of these. So, but I was going to try the name of the hacker. Again, I don't have much hope on these things, but I'm kind of at the point where I'm throwing whatever I can. Okay. And then I did allow for the possibility that there would be an IP. No, the attorney? Well, like, that's just it. We've got... So, the attorney is... This is the only lead we have with the attorney. So, they... I can't remember. I don't think they appear... Oh, no. Yes, they do. So, they do appear as a contact in the mobile phone. But there's not a lot that we can pull out of that. They also appear as a call. So, there was a call to Kumi... sorry, incoming call. So, outgoing to Mom, outgoing to Maria 3 times, incoming from Kumi, incoming from Philippe, and incoming from Macedon. But again, the actual information that's pulled out of that is kind of limited. I mean, there's something about Philippe, I guess, but... Rodriguez? Yeah, even then, like, the thing is that while there's certainly like persons of interest, it's part of it is just trying to narrow it down to how do I make it apply to some of these tools that I have available here. And because we don't have any MAC addresses for other phones, or we're not able to put like email addresses and stuff like that in the social engineering toolkit, we're actually rather limited in terms of the kinds of actions that we can take against them. So yeah, this is definitely a very big jump from the single player. I mean, I don't necessarily dislike this, but it's definitely to a certain point where I'm like, huh. So the low hanging fruit has sort of been taken care of. You know what, we'll keep the types, but we'll say open world. Yeah, so there's like nothing related to the open world inside here yet, so we'll keep the Fey automatic filtering on. Oh yeah, I guess I can keep hammering away through these IPs. I like my normal expectation from this would have been that you use the set and then you just kind of put in his email address like on its own. The fact that I don't do that, and the fact that there doesn't seem to be like another step after this. I've tried sort of moving up the up and down the IP ranges. That doesn't really seem to have done anything. There's no weaknesses at the start. It sort of feels like this is sort of a dead end. And I mean, again, like the point of these kinds of missions and the thing that makes this game interesting is that you need to find that hook. You need to sort of find the next part of the puzzle. But it may also just be because I'm a little unfamiliar with how some of the mechanics work still. So for instance, it took me a while to understand that you can actually access stuff that you find in the WMI through the file browser. It may just be that there's a really obvious feature which I missed out on. So I did try setting the email address, so I'll show it again just for the benefit of the chat. So there's a few different ways you can do this, right? So the most obvious step would be, okay, well, we've got a domain name, right? So target domain not found, which is usually an indication that you don't use set in it. Oh, trap. So it's like, okay, well, let's try the dictionary pattern. So Macedon. Nope. Okay, Macedon Telecom. So nothing related to the company name. Well, that's fine because, of course, we have the individual's email address from the file. So again, I'll double check. It never hurts in these cases just to make sure that I didn't have like a spelling mistake. So ASAGASTUME. ASAGASTUME. Right? So target domain not found. So this is the funny thing. It's actually something that appears in the file. It appears just above the MAC address for the phone. So that is a possibility. But it's just one of these ones where, I mean, I'll put it in just for the sake of completeness, but it just kind of strikes me as one of these things that if you're not going to include the telecom company, it feels like a little bit of a kick in the nuts to, you know, include an obscure reference on his CV somewhere. What was I going to say? Now, my understanding of Hydra is that it's supposed to be for like IoT style things. That if you want to access like phones and things like that, you use the proper the phone CID backdoor. I'm pretty sure if I just copy the MAC address into Hydra, they're gonna think I'm on drugs. And then this is a proper computer, so yeah, unable to interface. So unless I get like an indication that there's some kind of a device that I need to connect to, I'm just sort of grasping at straws on these. Okay, so we go back to the file that we have. If I need it, so the thing that's, I think, probably the most, I think the thing that I'm like, I feel like it's so close to the, to where we need to be, is the fact that we have all this information about the guy. So in theory, you could do like a password attack, but you actually need a URL to do that password attack. And in this case, like the connect or the customer information at Macedon and stuff like that isn't actually like, that's not where you go, it seems. So Actually, I guess the one thing I can try, again, Hydra, so there's a multi-protocol tool designed to initiate a connection with various low-level protocol, Internet of Things device, and SCADA system. The one that customer, yeah. And again, like, you'd sort of think this would be a really good candidate, but again, until you can enter in a login, all of it's kind of academic.
C2 registry.
And then all of these things are from other, like, these are from other missions, so maybe it's possible that something that we did before in the, in the previous games need to come up on here, but like none of these are even really relevant to the none of these are really relevant to the particular mission that we're on right now. I mean, if you need to know internet protocols, so if you do, so something like this, I'm going to assume it's just going to say that it's not, that it doesn't exist. Like, I think the thing about the game is that it doesn't. It expects you to sort of think your way through a problem, but I don't think it like says, oh, you don't understand all of the different protocols. Oh, what? You haven't, you haven't compiled Linux. You haven't compiled it on your own machine. Like, who the hell are you? Why are you playing it? I don't think it goes into the weeds too much on the technical stuff. I think it generally gives you what you need to know in the context of the mission. But I am a half hour over. So I think because we haven't made too much progress on this, I think I'm actually going to call it for tonight. And I will come back to this with fresh eyes. I am going to allow myself some time. So the problem with this is that I don't want to start Night Team 4 again and like turn it into okay, I'm going to stare at this screen for 3 hours and make no progress. So I'm going to allow myself the option. Well, thank you, Rooney. I'm sorry, especially for some of you who maybe only started when I was doing the open world thing. That was kind of a target of opportunity. We really wanted to finish the main mission, so I'm actually doing more than I was planning on here, because I think the prospect of doing like a 3-hour cast where I make no progress on this mission at all strikes me as like a really big pain. I'm going to lift my restriction of saying that I'm not going to make any progress in the game without doing it on cast. So I'm going to try, banging my head against this a little bit on my own. If it seems like I have made progress, I'm going to stop advancing, and then I'll basically like do it on the stream and say, here was the part that I had missed last time. But at this point here, I think I'm kind of spinning my wheels, and I definitely know I came in a little bit fuzzy, one, on the game, but number two, I'm like not 100% in terms of myself. I had a fairly full day. So in this particular case here, I'm going to say I'll tuck my tail between my legs. I will admit defeat to the super geniuses at Alice and Smith. But I am looking forward to digging into these. So for those of you interested in the game, what we were doing here is the open world. So this is described as open world missions are optional assignments for agents looking for a bigger challenge. You'll need to venture outside the Stinger OS in order to investigate and come back to execute your attacks. Complete these challenges for special rewards. So again, this particular mission, it says it is an advanced mission, but a minimal real life component. And I think this is the part that's really throwing me for a curveball, where it can be that there's just this really narrow path that I need to take to get that toehold, and I just haven't realized the link yet. Because again, we've explored the IPs, we've explored the domains and whatnot. So like the low-hanging fruit has sort of been picked. But the fact that it says it's got this minimal real life, and I'm looking at one document and it's not clear to me that there is some other really obvious step to go to, this is sort of the point where I'm like, okay, maybe I've sort of misunderstood what what I was supposed to be aiming for. But again, that's going to be where that's largely finding my feet in these open world settings are going to be what I do off cast. And then when I come back to Night Team 4, I'm going to, I'm going to try, I'm going to try and take some of the progress that I've made off cast and explain sort of the gap that I missed on tonight's broadcast. So. But yeah, so for those of you who only saw the open worlds, I will definitely say, like, having now played the story mode, there's 4 chapters. It was a very fun ride, and I'm personally really looking forward to digging into this. Because, like, when you look at it, in terms of what Allison Smith has given us, looks like we get, like, 1 a month. So we've got... Delicate Drive, Freedom of Information, Re-Education, Honey Badger, Straw Sandal, Ransomware, Disinformation Sharing, Executive Error. Presumably there'll be something that comes out this month. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly no shortage of content. There's plenty of stuff that's getting added. So I'm really looking forward to sort of jumping into these, but I have a feeling that there's probably just this step that I haven't quite been able to make yet. And I'm not ready to start Googling and, like, phone a friend or do Twitch plays Night Team 4. But I do need to rest on it, and I need to come up with a better way of going through the information that I've been given. But I mean, if I'd bought that, I mean, obviously Allison Smith was kind enough to give me a key for streamer. But with that in mind, if I had only played the story mode, I would have said, like, this is absolutely worth it. Like, this is the sort of thing I've been wanting to play forever. I am really looking forward to also to see where all these reputation points and whatnot go. But all of these things, of course, will happen another night. Let's just take a minute here and see who I can host, if anyone. I also want to take a quick minute and say thank you to everybody for the follows and the subs and the kind words, especially when I don't feel like God's gift to casting, or especially when I'm struggling on something. It is actually quite nice to have people, say nice things. But I am tired, and I think I need to go to bed, or otherwise get my head out of things that are not not Night Team 4 related. I'm having trouble finding somebody to host tonight, though. So what I'm going to do tonight, this is going to be a little unusual, especially for some of you who are not familiar with my broadcast. We've got a streamer called Elcanoe. Now, he is playing for... I'm glad to hear that, Rooney. You certainly got the challenge, not the speed run. There's 2 people that I can recommend. So Lady Dow is playing Star Wars The Old Republic. Very friendly streamer. But I haven't had a chance to host Elcanoe for a while. Now, the thing about Elcanoe is he is a French streamer. He's playing a game called Trover Saves the Universe. Elcanoe is a very entertaining caster, and I actually like recommending him to people who want to get into casting, because the thing about him is my French is not that strong. I do live in Ottawa now, and I'm making an effort. Actually, that was one of the reasons why I started watching Elcanoe, because he... it was a chance for me to try and practice the French. But one of the things that's really good about Elcanoe is that he's very good at sort of nonverbal communication. I can remember laughing quite a bit and really enjoying his cast, even though I didn't understand the words. So I completely understand if this is not going to be your guys' kind of thing, if you're not French speakers. No hard feelings there. I will give you a quick recommendation of Lady Dow as well. I haven't actually seen her cast in a while, so if you like Star Wars The Old Republic, feel free to do so. But I'm going to host El Canu tonight just because he is a little bit of a treat. And I do recommend, if you don't mind off the beaten track stuff, he is definitely somebody worth watching. And of course, if you are a French speaker, I'm sure you'll really enjoy El Canu. But he is going to be who I host tonight. And I'd love it if you guys could come along and give him a little bit of support. See if it's your kind of thing. As always, a streamer will always want an opportunity to entertain you. If it doesn't fit, obviously there's no hard feelings if people don't stick around for stuff. But if you do want to see something new and off the beaten path, El Canu is somebody I have a lot of fun kind of hanging out with and watching. So I hope some of you get something out of it. And if not, I am going to be recording an Elder Scrolls episode and Surviving Mars episode on the weekend, so it's unlikely I'll do a weekend stream. Monday is a Canadian holiday, but I am going to be doing something special on that day, so there will definitely be a cast. Other than that, I will most likely see you Monday for the special cast, Wednesday for Cultist Simulator, and I'm not quite sure what we're doing next Friday yet, but those are my normal casting days, and I'm going to stop this eternal goodbye and just leave you with the talents of El Canu. So have a good night, and we'll see you next time.